For all the calls to release the Epstein docs, a whole new tranche just came out today, and it's not the ones people were expecting. Bloomberg got 18,000 leaked emails. These have never been public before, from Epstein's personal email account. He was using Yahoo. And it sheds new light on his predatory tactics. It also continues to reinforce what the DOJ, under Ms. Comey, the now fired prosecutor, showed in her prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell, that she was a big part of this criminal enterprise, not, as she said in her interview, some sort of hanger-on as people did consensual things. Now, as for the president, who has been so suspicious about this, who vowed to do transparency and then broke that vow, well, there's not a lot of clear new information that shows what Trump was up to with Epstein, although we know from prior information that they had a kind of social relationship. You've seen the photos. Bloomberg reports these newly released emails do demonstrate Maxwell's knowledge of the legal jeopardy Epstein faced all the way back in that first case that we've reported on from the 2000s in Florida, and that Epstein negotiated a plea deal in 2008. He sought her advice. Quote, question, which one do you prefer, lewd and lascivious conduct or procuring minors for prostitution? Quite a grim question if you're choosing among those cases. Maxwell responding, quote, I suppose lewd and lascivious conduct. I would prefer lewd conduct with a prostitute if possible. Now, they're discussing the plea deal, not whether he did all of the above. Of course, the way the conversation goes, they don't sound shocked that they're in this situation. Remember, in her Trump DOJ interview, she downplayed her relationship with Epstein at that very time.
So when he's going to go to jail, he says, can you stay around and manage everything?
Yeah.
And do you do that?
I do.
Okay. And then we'll come back to that.
I will not manage everything, no. I mean, there are other people at this point. My specific role then was very, very diminished.
However one thinks of a diminished role compared to the past, Bloomberg finds they exchanged over 200 messages in 6 months of that first year. Trump's name does come up in 3 minor instances. That's the Bloomberg word, and they've obviously gone through all this quite carefully. In 2007, Maxwell wrote reporters may have interviewed Trump about Epstein's case. You have to assume they went to Donald Trump, she notes. That's neither here nor there on Donald Trump's role. Many of Epstein's emails also discuss the predatory manipulation of those young women and sometimes girls. From a legal perspective, includes minors, according to, of course, the case. He and Maxwell discussed how to recruit and groom those young women and then discredit anyone who became an accuser. NBC has not obtained these emails or independently verified the Bloomberg report, we should note, and the revelations come as Epstein survivors have been speaking out.
Accountability is what makes a society civilized.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them.
We are tired. However, we are not going away. We will not stop or give up.
Jason Leopold, the senior investigative Bloomberg reporter, joins us now. The lead on what is a clearly big break in understanding more about this sordid case. Epstein's inbox is how Bloomberg put it. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, Ari.
What do these emails add to the public understanding about this case?
It adds a lot. As you noted, we have 18,000 emails. And in the emails that we highlighted here, in this very lengthy story about Ghislaine Maxwell's partnership with Jeffrey Epstein, which was far closer than the public knows, you're getting an opportunity to see just how close they really were. Right up until Jeffrey Epstein was getting ready to report to prison, they discussed fertility, shared fertility treatments. They talked about the legal case. You read some of those emails about when Jeffrey Epstein was asking her what she would prefer, what she thought that he should, potentially plead guilty to. but also just how much she helped to kind of run the business of Jeffrey Epstein. Within these emails, we also uncovered an accountant's spreadsheet that tracked nearly $2 million in spending, and which amounted to some gifts, some cash payments to victims, to very prominent public figures. There was a car for Alan Dershowitz, which he told us was for his wife. There was a watch, $11,000 Rolex watch for Tom Barrack, who's now the ambassador to Turkey. He told us he never received a watch. So you're getting an opportunity to see details about the business dealings, but also disturbingly, there is a lot of information there about Jeffrey Epstein's callousness toward these young women, these underage girls. There's one very disturbing, chilling email in which he is berating this woman who is working for him because she doesn't want to engage in fun sex things. So between Jeffrey Epstein and kind of getting a sense of what he sounds like through these emails in his own words, and the way in which Ghislaine Maxwell was really trying to promote Jeffrey Epstein in social circles, you learn quite a bit.
What was Epstein's main business? He clearly had a knack or an almost con man's ability to get himself in all sorts of rooms around all sorts of people. We know how many have distanced themselves later. But given the nature of the sex crimes that were already exposed, it would appear that some people had knowledge of it. That's what the birthday book shows. Some people, we can't name names without a legal and investigative process, but some people, understandably, were probably closer to it and may have partaken in it. He has the whole island, and he has all these other allegations. And then there's this wider concentric circle, and I'm wondering if you found the emails show any of this, where he seems to be pulling people in to sort of credential himself as he goes along, continuing to abuse others and make it, I guess, harder for him to ever actually face accountability for it. That seemed to work for some period of time.
Well, as we noted in the story, there is, many emails which show an intense lobbying campaign. That much is public. That took place behind the scenes. What's kind of fascinating about it is seeing how it played out. As far as the business, that's obviously a question that remains unanswered in terms of the source of his wealth. What I can tell you is that we're continuing our reporting around that. But really, it is, getting a sense of kind of what the day-to-day was like. I mean, I also want to...
Let me ask you on that. You mentioned, because the reporting talks about it being at times mundane, and we've seen throughout history references to the banality of evil, to use the famous phrase from Hannah Arendt. But did you also find any hint that through the email and other references that he was ever threatening or blackmailing others to maintain his own criminal web?
No, as our reporting shows in this story, he was berating and manipulating, emotionally abusing the women who had worked, with him, for all sorts of different reasons. So that much comes through within our reporting. I also just want to note that there are mundane issues, mundane emails that that we found in there, such as his Amazon purchases, which honestly I found fascinating, if you will, just in terms of getting a sense of what he was thinking. There's purchases for Nabisco Nilla wafers. There are purchases for an FBI agent's costume, a prostate massager. Some things that are.
I got one more.
well.
I got one more question for you before I lose you, which is we've talked much about what your reporting showed. One thing the emails don't show is a bombshell about Trump, which is fine. You follow the evidence. You do have a reference in September 06. This was after Epstein was charged. And there's 51 politicians and other executives on the list. And it says, please review list and add or remove Peeps. From Maxwell, quote, remove Trump, Epstein responded. Was he the only person removed? And what did you make of that?
There was one other person removed. I mean, we reached out to the White House for comment on it. And the White House responded by stating, as we noted in the story, that this was fake news.
But remove Trump means what? We don't know? You don't know?
We haven't been able to further find out what that means. It's as we note in the story.